Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, Clutter Free family. I pressed live a little bit too fast, but because I didn't get Instagram even ready and set up. So come with me as I bring Instagram on for our live and make sure that we are on Do Not Disturb. And let's have a good stream, shall we? Let's make sure that nothing's happening with audio or getting booted off the internet. That would be really nice if today things go really, really well. That was actually maybe an okay light. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. And let's not have anything die on us today. I got a low battery here. We're putting out all the good vibes. I love you, YouTube. I really do. Okay, so let's do this. Why is it? Oh, gotcha. That's why. All right, let's do this. Okay, so we got a couple questions in. I am going to stick to something that I said I was going to talk about on Instagram stories this morning. I'm going to stick to that. And also just maybe throw in one question from the Clarity Hotline submission page. I think we can handle both of those, just two. Otherwise, I think it might get a little bit too much. Okay, so let's do this. Let me take my water. Hey, Clutter Free family. Welcome to the Clarity Hotline. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right into the fact that, yes, if you are feeling on fire for things, what's up with this color here on Instagram? Looks weird. If you are on fire for all things life and career, and I say business because I'm usually talking entrepreneurs. I'll be honest. That tends to be my audience. People who have an entrepreneurial spirit. If you're just on fire for all of that, then it's because it's a fire moon. So we've got a moon in Sagittarius, I believe, and we're coming off of a water moon. So there might be a little bit of a crash for you. Coming off of a water moon, coming into a fire moon. At least I've noticed that there's a little bit of a crash that happens emotionally. It's kind of like, you aren't just in the clear of, because a water moon's going to bring kind of some emotions and maybe some, I don't know, it's going to just bring up a lot of things. And sometimes it feels like, you're in over your head, you're drowning, because that's kind of what it means, right? To be in water, you got to do the work to tread water to stay afloat. But then at the same time, you can also float on your back. You could ride the waves without needing to do so much work. And in fact, I recommend for a water moon, like we just were in for 3 days, I was so ready to be done with that moon. 2 to 3 days is typically when the moon is in a certain zodiac sign. And so anyway, I was just like, I'm so over this moon. But at least what it did for me is I went to bed early. I focused on myself and my little routines and rituals that I do, because that's what we need to do. Both a water moon and a earth moon, we just need to ground and settle and rest and slow down. And then for the fire and the air moons, we get to just kind of be whoop, whoop, all crazy energy. We get to go with the crazy happy flow. But anyway, so yeah, we're in a fire moon right now. And I'll be honest, I didn't, yesterday entering the fire moon, it wasn't all like sunshine and butterflies. There was a little bit of a shaky start. But I did wake up kind of on fire, and I'm still on fire. But here's what. And for Instagram, you saw me live on stories today about kind of what we're going to talk about because of this transition of energy and especially at the start of January. Did you know people give up on their resolutions, their New Year's resolutions by January 18th? It's been statistically proven that by January 18th of a year, people are already like, I'm over this. And I'll be honest, I even felt like that today, like an existential crisis kind of a thing where it's like, who cares? Who cares about these New Year's resolutions? But I have been walking every day and not reaching my 10,000 steps. And I'll get there where 10,000 steps a day is second nature. Right now, it's not. It very much is. I've got to go out of my way to walk and to walk to everything, the store, to pick up the boys. Like I've got to walk, and in the mornings, walk the track. But beautiful starts to my day because I'm making it. I was intentional and I made it a point to walk. Something as simple as that. That was my New Year's resolution. So while I'm not reaching the 10,000 steps every single day, the days that I did reach it, I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I could do that. It was a little bit tiring by the end of the day because it's like, oh, okay, I haven't done that in a while. But it does feel worth it. And I'm definitely still going strong on that resolution. And so I'm just, and meditation too, still going strong. But I did have a feeling where it was like, who cares? Like a brief little moment of what does it matter in the big scheme of things? And I think it's because there's this confluence of energy where, and confluence just means like a meeting of something, right? Where things are flowing together. So think of a whirlpool where things are kind of coming together. And we're in the midst of that energy. If you're feeling scared or terrified to make a move, nervous, anxious, because you've got these lofty, big goals for the year and you are feeling scared like I am, I feel like, I bit off more than I could chew. That's how sometimes it feels. But here's what I know to be absolutely true. And then we'll ground in some breath work because I skipped that. I skipped that with us, doing that with you. But I feel very grounded and centered. So I just jumped right in, didn't I? But here's what I know to be true. If we keep the faith over fear, we will make it through. We will make it through and we will be on the brighter side of the story. We won't be under the problem. We will be over it. We will have come through it. And not only just come through it, because I think a lot of us, especially if you're watching the Clarity Hotline, you probably are on the side of like, everything always works out, right? Everything always works out. Like there's that trust that everything always works out and maybe a little bit lackadaisical about how it works out. Maybe it just always works out, and it's just like, okay, it's fine. But what about being everything works out for my betterment and is incredible, and I get to experience a life that other people think is impossible. Like, how is she doing that? That's the level of like where we want to get to, right? When we go after something big, scary, audacious goals, then there are going to be those moments where it's like, whoa, I'm a fish out of water. I don't, can I do this? And if the obstacles are mounting up against you, which for me, it feels like they are, then I know that there's more to get through, right? And all I can do is have faith. All I can do is remind myself of the vision. And that is a little trick to manifestation, is to keep reminding yourself that you got this. Keep reminding yourself to have the faith over fear, have faith and trust in yourself, have faith and trust in God, have faith and trust in the divine flow of the universe, that this is impermanent. This too shall pass. The confusion, the chaos, maybe the scary feeling right now that you're feeling will pass. You will get through. And then you'll be on the other side of something. You'll be in a better position, a better place. You'll be in a new chapter. And wow, what then? I mean, aren't beginnings fun? And that's kind of what's on the other side of feeling really scared, trepidatious about going forward and facing these big, big goals head on. And I'll share with you what I did this morning when I was faced with a lot of fear, a lot of worry around my goals and like, oh, can I do this? Am I up for this? And I can't, and I'll tell you, like, that's not the first time I felt that, where can I do this? Am I up for this? And we never stop feeling that way, ever, 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 especially if you keep climbing. If you keep climbing and going after bigger and better and bolder and just more harmony, more abundance, more love, more peace, more joy. If that's where you want to live energetically, if that's where you want to live, you're always going to be faced with the courage, right? The either the feeling like you don't have the courage, needing the courage, calling in the courage. That is going to be a moment that you face. And that's all we need to do. It's because it's there for us. The courage is there for us. That's where the trust in yourself comes. Like, okay, breathe through it. I got this. I got this. Today, maybe I'm feeling a little bit scared. Maybe I take it easy. Maybe I journal some more. Maybe I light a candle and meditate a little bit longer. Maybe I don't do as much as I thought I might get done of my to-do list. Maybe I don't do as much. And I just slowly pace myself. And I do what feels inspired to do. That's the law of inspired action. Everything goes a lot smoother when you are moving with inspired action. And inspired action obviously comes from clarity, having clarity in your vision. And when you have clarity of vision and foresight, you see, like I already am closing my eyes every single morning and visioning myself with my $1 million this year, $1 million in a year. That's my big, scary, audacious goal. If you missed it last week or a couple weeks ago when I announced it as my resolution, or not my resolution, my big, scary goal for the year is to make $1 million in 1 year. So, and I know a lot of people are saying that and wanting that for themselves and because it's possible. And I'm like, okay, well, if it's possible, I'm getting it. And so I think I'm still kind of like the engine's revving and it's like, sometimes it wants to sputter to start, but then it's going and then it's like, but then again, the moon, right? I'm learning all about the universal laws and it's very fascinating to know that this has all been there this whole time. All this truth and all this greatness has been there. The law of rhythm says everything moves in cycles and patterns. So I know that I'm going to have the days where I'm feeling really scared. And then I have the days where I'm on fire and I got this and this is a breeze. But then that's the point. That's the point. The contrast is the point. We need to be with the whole experience. The whole experience is the point. And the ebb and flow of life, right? Just like a river flows and it goes against the rocks and then it flows smoothly. As long as you maintain that flow and you breathe through it, you will be that brook. You will be that stream that just slowly moves. Nothing stops it. It's just going. And there might be like some smaller points and the water backs up a little bit, but then it all starts to flush through. And that's actually is that my favorite sound in the world? I think it is, like a brook. The water hitting like river rocks is like the ultimate sound for me. To the point where I just love camping and I need to be around like that kind of water. That noise needs to like be in the background. But anyway, it's maintaining that even keel and knowing that, it's all impermanent and we, to the point where I think that's kind of where some of my existential crisis comes from. It's like, what's the point? But it is the point to experience it all in its fullness, in its richness, and let yourself go with the flow of the fear, and to feel the fear and do it anyway, because the fear is kind of part of the refining process. The fear is just us moving through the ego and our human, right? This human meat suit. I like that when people say that, the meat suit. Like we're just moving through our carnal energy and tapping back into our divine energy, but we need both. So there's also a universal law called the law of gender. There's both masculine and feminine energies in the world. And to really have the peaceful life, the harmonious life, the abundant, rich life that you want, we all want, then there is the balancing of the masculine and the feminine energies. And I think the egoic energies tend to feel more masculine, right? Those are the ones that say, let's work to get to those results. Let's do this, wake up every day and go, 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 go. But there is the going, there is the doing, right? There's the balancing, that's inspired action. with the being and the resting, or I like to say resting, not being, because I think being is both the doing and the non-doing. I think that is being. That's the equality, right? But the dual nature of kind of this masculine and feminine energy, finding that balance, is finding the balance in the action taking and the rest. So the same thing goes for being scared, being nervous, like, oh, but isn't that the same energy? Excitement, right? Excitement and fear. It's two extremes of the same energy. That the law of polarity states that like everything has kind of the dual side, those kind of competing sides, but it is the same energy. So, but we get to experience the contrast. And the more we just experience kind of those polar opposites and know that it's the exact same energy, then you can kind of find that balance, that happy medium. Because did you know, and then we're going to breathe. We're going to breathe. Am I getting, okay, let's breathe now. But I just don't want to forget this thought, because I think it's really important. So let's take a big breath in. Big breath out, and let your exhale be longer than your inhale. Big breath in. And then if you need to, let it out of your mouth. Send the energy out. Let go. Release any tension. Close your eyes if you need, if you can, as you do the breath in and the breath out. There's something, keep going until you feel really balanced and centered and present. Okay, keep going with that breath. Keep going with the closed eyes. And there is something that David Gikander wrote in his book, The Happy Pocket Full of Money. I think that's the title. Sorry, I just haven't looked at it recently, but it is an amazing book. He writes, stop believing in limits. And as you take that breath in, stop believing in limits. Take the breath in, tell yourself to stop believing in limits, and then let the limits go. Because there are no limits except those that you place on yourself. And so even as we're feeling the fear, we are feeling our inadequacy. We're feeling our insecurity. And so if immediately when we turn that thought into its opposite, law of polarity, if we turn that thought into its opposite, I am capable, I am adequate, I can do this, I can do anything actually that I put my mind to. And I can do it with flying colors. And I can do it to the best of my ability. And the best of my ability gets me the best of the best that I want in my life, all of my heart's desires, as long as I keep the faith. I keep the faith. I keep trusting in myself, trusting in God, trusting that I am one with God and in this divine creation that we're creating together. That is my life, right? As I'm letting it unfold, as I'm doing the creating with God, like I'm letting God know what I want, and I'm trusting that we will make it happen. He will provide every opportunity, every synchronicity, every coincidence is all just to point me in the direction of my truth, to point me in the direction of my truth, which is me achieving my goal by the end of this year. You achieving your goal. That is your truth. Your truth does not have to be you under the pressure of fear. Your truth does not have to be you not accomplishing the goal. You get to believe in a truth that is you accomplishing the goal. You get to have that be your truth. And I think, so Donna asked a question that we'll get into in a second. I think I think this is going to ring true when we go into that question, because a lot of times we need to stay in the energy of trust and faith in our truth when it comes to manifesting, right? And whether it be a recession, fire in California, and houses crumble, or more severe things, a pandemic, Holocaust, really awful, like widespread phenomena. You could be in the midst of that with one of two opinions about it, that I will make it through or that I won't. And anytime you're just not sure, you're kind of in the middle. And that's an okay place to be too, because there's kind of a divine consciousness there in just right in the middle of kind of it all, right? Not erring on either side of one extreme belief. But just kind of this trust, like or I don't think, actually, I think the making it through, that this is not, how do I want to put this? How can I put this? Anyway, what's the important thing to say here? So when we're in the midst of something like that heavy, and it could be our own existential crisis, our own fear and of, dealing with everything that we're dealing with, and wanting to still make it through, even though maybe it doesn't feel like we can. Like maybe our strength feels really tested and we're unsure of ourselves and things like that. We can kind of fall in the two camps, right? One of the two camps. We could feel like, oh man, I'll never make it through. Or we can kind of come back and claim our truth that we will make it through, but not just make it through, be better on the other side. Whatever doesn't kill us makes us stronger. That's not a saying for nothing. That is somebody tapping into their truth, tapping into, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it through. That's why you see people on their deathbed make it through, miraculous recovery. People get through cancer because they believe there's no other plan but me getting through this and being cancer free and living cancer free, seeing that in their mind's eye and never deviating from that truth. That is their truth that they live from. And so if anybody wants to kind of be the energy that's inserted in the conversation that puts in doubt, then that's a conversation that you get to probably not have again, or you get to be the buffer of that conversation, protect your energy, put up a boundary, and say to yourself, to anyone who wants to kind of instill that fear in you for whatever reason, because they're fearful. No, it's going to be okay. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to walk again. I'm going to see again. I'm going to be cancer free. I'm going to be on the other side of this. I'm going to be out of this prison. I am making it out of here. Whatever this hostage situation is where fear has you, don't let it grip, right? And I think when we do grip really tightly, and this is where the idea of really decluttering the mind comes in, when we're gripping and clinging and hoarding an idea that isn't serving us anymore, that's clutter. That's clutter. And so we get to loosen our grip, let things go, and let them be. Like, let them be without us needing to control them. And we get to control what we can control, which is how we be, which is how we are, how we show up to a situation, and the truth that we ring ourselves around. And when we see people who've made it and they're in their confidence, and maybe they're on these podcast interviews and they're on TV and they're speaking their truth, and maybe in the observed state, they haven't really reached it, right? The pinnacle of all pinnacles for their industry, where they're headed, but they believe they are. And so they even act and talk from a place of, I already know I'm there. I've already claimed it. I've already claimed that Billboard hit. I've already claimed that New York Times bestseller. I've already claimed that blockbuster hit, that movie, right? The movie of all movies, the avatar of all movies. And I've already claimed it. I already live there. I already live there in my mind. So while to the onlooker, the audience, we might think like, well, no, she's not there. She doesn't have the blockbuster hit yet. She doesn't have the bestseller. Well, that's the observed kind of 3D world, but there's also the world that she's creating. She's in the midst of creating, and that is where she's embodying that. That's where she's creating from. And so you can't fault that. It's a manifestation trick to just always live in that truth, always live as though You've already done the claiming. You're just getting there. You're just making your way there. And this morning, I had to do some journaling because I was stuck in that fear, like, oh, okay, do I have what it takes? Will I measure up? What 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 do I have to do, to get there? And that's all how questions. It's all how questions, when really I just had to shake off the fear and just show up in the confidence, in the trust, in the truth that I am making $1 million in 1 year, this year. That is the truth. That is the truth. Okay. That is my truth. So you're going to see me walk this truth all the way through to December 31st, 2026. You're going to see me walk that whole truth. And I had to journal to get out of my head, and I had to move my body to get out of my head because, yeah, fear would have me sit on the sidelines. Fear would have me sit this one out, sit the day out, because I'm just like, in my shell. I just want to hide. But no, why? Why let that win? No. Why would I ever do that? There is, I believe it was last week's video that I put out, or this one just on Tuesday, the video that I put out about kind of operating from that place of, you knowing that this is reality. This is your truth. This is it's already in existence. I'm just claiming it. I'm in the process of claiming. I'm collecting. I'm in the process of collecting, slowly but surely collecting what I'm claiming. And I was kind of just saying, you do what it takes to show up as that person. And if that means journaling, meditating, yoga, running, right? Just moving your body faster than your mind, or just walking and slowing some of the thoughts. Whatever that is, swimming is a beautiful analogy for just going with the flow and moving with the water. And actually, I think that's really beautiful. Like when you think about the moons, like, the water moon getting into water and the fire moon getting into the sun. But then also making sure that you do balance that, right? Just don't always be in the sun. Incorporate some of the other elements too, right? Sinking your feet into the earth, barefoot into the soil on an earth moon. And it's calling that energy that's alive and well during that time frame. You're calling that energy to you to support you. You're not doing this alone. You've got divine support behind you. You've got the universe at your back, like Gabby Bernstein said in her book, Universe Has Your Back, I think. And yeah, it's absolutely true. And any manifestation teacher will tell you that if you need to shake off the cobwebs of the fear, it's usually in the question of, what would she do? What would he do? This vision, me, version 2.0, in having achieved this, what would she do today? That's the question, right? And it's such a beautiful, easy question. What would she do? Well, she probably, if she already claimed it and she's already there, she could take the day off. She could go get her nails done, go spa day, get a massage, or she could go live on social. She could, what would she do? Would she write a little bit longer today? Write that manuscript? Would she spend a little bit longer writing? Would she do something like, in the artist way, they talk about a creative date, like taking yourself on a date, and it's just to get inspired. Go to the museum, go watch a performance, watch a movie in the theater. And it's just to be with yourself and your creative spirit and just let the things kind of bubble up within you. Be inspired. And that's the purpose. That's the point. You're doing it by yourself so that you can become inspired and you can tap into that creative flow, right? Because you're in this creative space, other people creating and being their truest selves and expressing themselves in this creative way. That is what we want to do, right? We want to be creatively expressing ourselves, because if we don't express ourselves, then we're repressing ourselves. And what is a repressed energy but depression? The quickest way through depression is expression. Expression. That's why, when you are feeling really stuck in your head, it is wise to move your body. Very wise. If you're just like, oh, I'm trying to think my way through this problem, I'm trying to find the logic and the meaning and the all that stuff. When hold on, you'll get there. You'll get that. Not by thinking and trying to think of all the things. Sometimes it's just by moving your body and getting outside, breathing in fresh air, sitting in nature. Those are the most cliche, overused little things. And I hear myself say it, and I'm sure I overuse it, but it's so true. That is what works. And the simplest things are truth. The simplest things work. I think if it's not simple, it's not truth. If it's too complicated, it's not truth. That's personally my train of thought. That's what I believe. And I think asking that question, like I did today, what would the version of me do already with millions in the bank? What would she do? Well, she's got a scheduled live, so she's going to go live, and she's going to talk about and be vulnerable and honest and share, the part of the journey. When you take something on this big for yourself, I didn't take on, the couple thousand jump from what I usually make. I didn't take on the 100K whatever month. I took on $1 million a year. And that I think I need to bump up that goal to like several million. But the point is if it doesn't feel scary, you're not pulling it out of you, right? You're just delaying the process of your own growth. And if you feel ready enough to put that on paper as your truth and even say it to the world, then you're ready. You're ready. And I think if you see it, you can have it. If you can see it in your mind's eye, you can have it. Bob Proctor says, if you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And that is absolutely true, right? If we can see it in the mind, we can have it. And that's what it takes, is to see it in the mind. And I say that fear is the lack of evidence. And so we have to give ourselves evidence by seeing us, by closing our eyes and seeing us having achieved the goal. Walking through, and that's also being intentional for the day, right? At the start of the day, closing your eyes, seeing yourself move through the day with intention, right? I intend to show up in this way. I intend to get this done. I intend to be present with my kids. I intend to be present with my clients. I intend to be present with my audience on YouTube, on Instagram. I intend to give them my best. I intend to bring value. I intend to love on the people around me who love me. Right, all these things, and walking through the day to the point where you're laying your head at night, right? I'm still closing my eyes. I'm seeing myself through this, closing your eyes at night and feeling a peace that, well, I did all I could do. I did all I could do. And it felt effortless. That was effortless. Doing those things feels effortless. And then I think you're on your way. It's a matter of time. And the quickest way to quantum leap that time, right, to close the gap, is to just don't falter on the faith and the belief of you having achieved this goal, even on the hard days. And that's why a vision board really helps. It just kind of like puts it out there visually, so that when you are stuck kind of in your head and you're not really able to kind of conjure up the image in your mind because of fear, because what you see more is the obstacles when you close your eyes in your mind, you're thinking more of the problems, the obstacles, the things in the way. Those can't loom larger than you achieving the goal. That's letting fear win. That's fear over faith, but we want faith over fear. So we want the clearest image in our mind to always be us having achieved the goal. This I know to be true. This is a manifestation trick that works for me all the time. I get what I want. I get what I want all the time. I always get what I want. And I've said this before. Because I know I always get what I want because I put out the energy, I put out the intention, I have clarity about my vision, and I get what I want. So I know I will achieve, I will have the million by the end of this year, and if not sooner, way sooner. But that's the conviction that I know is necessary to have it. I know it's necessary. And so I'm not letting the fear of the moment, the fear of, oh, okay, well, I don't have it yet on January 15th of 2026. What am I going to do? What am I going to do by December 31st, 2026? I'm not going to let that fear loom larger than my faith that I will have it. That's like letting, don't tell, what's the, I love these little quotes because they totally resonate with me even more so. The ones we hear as kids, right? And then they're like, oh man, okay, I get that. I get that now. Don't tell God about your problems. Tell your problems about God. You have a God greater than this. Whatever is your source, whatever you ascribe as the higher power in your life, is greater than the problem. You and with that divine energy flowing through your veins, you are also greater than the problem. And the problem is only in your mind. It's only a problem if you perceive it to be a problem. And that is in the declutter code. So I've said it before. It's only a problem if you perceive the problem. If you perceive clutter to be a problem, it's a problem. If you don't perceive any clutter to be a problem, then it's not a problem. It's only a problem if you perceive it to be a problem. And how is it a problem, right? It's in the way. Oh, it's taking up space. It takes up room in your mind. It's an energy leak. It makes me feel less than. It makes me feel bad about myself. Yes, all problems, but not problems that are bigger than you, not problems that you can't overcome, not problems that are true, because no, I know my truth. I know my truth. I know I live in a clutter-free space. I know that I am making millions doing what I love. And I know I'm being a present mom through it all. I know that my boys are getting a happy, carefree, happy-go-lucky mom because things work out, right? And work out in my favor. And things are great, right? And vibrant with full of life. And they're getting a mom that, has that. And so I think my battery's going to die on the Instagram feed. So I'm just going to go with it. If it does die, I love you guys lots. I'll finish over on YouTube. I'll put the link there so you guys can see the rest of this live. I just don't have access to my cord right now. And I just want to keep going because at least we got it somewhere on YouTube. Okay. Hey, YouTube folks. And just know, that it's there. But if it does die, just know that I love you too. Anyway, thanks for showing up live, guys. And then this is always going to be on the replay too. But anyway, those are my 2 cents. And I do want to get into Donna's question. So Donna asked, are digital courses still a thing? And should I even make and sell one for my own business? She says, if I want to start my own business, but Donna has already started her own business. But she just doesn't realize that she has yet. So I know, Donna. And so our digital course is still a thing. And I think this comes from, and Donna, you could tell me if I'm right. But so Amy Porterfield, big name in digital marketing, and then Jenna Kutcher, big name in digital marketing, and on Instagram. And they both shuttered parts of their business. Amy Porterfield stopped her digital course academy. And then, so she stopped helping people run their digital courses. And then Jenna Kutcher stopped her podcast. And they're very financially driven decisions. And I think some people are kind of roasting them and saying it's a problem. Whereas I'm seeing the manifestation in that they're calling out what they'd rather be doing and doing that instead, shifting, pivoting. And it's no problem to do that, to shutter an arm of your business that's not really producing the income. And maybe it's taking a lot of energy and it takes a lot of revenue from the bottom line to keep operating this. And so she's stopping new enrollments for that course. And she did a huge blowout like campaign last year for this thing. And maybe it didn't do so well. Maybe she's kind of like reevaluating, like, oh man, that took a lot out of me. And then I got to do it again every year. No thanks, for the birds. And then Jenna Kutcher, I don't really know what she's up to, but I heard that she shuttered her podcast. Also a big endeavor to run a podcast. Like, you really need to be somebody, I think, for unless you just start from jump, you're like out the gate with a podcast and you just keep grinding like Diary of a CEO. And you're just like, let's just do this and figure it out and climb the ladder of getting these highly ranked individuals on the podcast. And then you become like this behemoth of masterclass podcast level platform. Well, anyway, so she shuttered the podcast. Well, anyway, people are roasting them, saying, well, just be honest. It wasn't a financially solvent business endeavor, and so you've decided to close them. Absolutely, absolutely. It's also an energetic thing. I think it's an energetic thing. So Donna says our digital course is still a thing. So if people think digital courses aren't a thing, they're wrong, because there's universities and online universities. You can get your degree online. Online's not going anywhere. And I think just because Amy Porterfield closed that arm because she wants to do other things, maybe she's onto another thing that lights her fire more. And she's just kind of over this. Like Marie Forleo, I don't think she runs B School anymore. And that's years and years and years ago. What's she doing now? And everyone has the right to change and go with their truth. And maybe her truth all the while has always been to kind of like, okay, what's next? What's next for me? I can't wait. No more digital courses. I'm over that, because the landscape is different. So Donna, no, yes, digital courses are still a thing. Digital courses are still a thing. You can put a digital course out and sell it and you could soar. And in fact, Amy Porterfield leaving the space leaves room for you. But this is my point, right? With manifestation, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. It really doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. I don't care here Bill Gates and Warren Buffett's and yes, they're profiting off of recessions for sure, because they know how to invest. They come with an investor mindset in the face of a recession, but they're not experiencing recessions. They just watch recessions. They're still making money because they're not beneath the problem. They're above the problem because they've elevated their mindset that everything is an opportunity. If you have a course inside you, whatever it is, I guarantee it will succeed if you keep the faith over fear and keep going. I guarantee it will work. Okay. If you need a permission to go for that course, absolutely do it. You got it here first. Go out there and do it. Start the course. What's the course for? There's marketing also, right? There's positioning and strategy and things like that, and audience building and community and all the things that go into making it successful. Sure. I think the strategy is different because the landscape is different. People are doing things so different now. And with AI, it's like everybody wants to pop a course up because it's like, oh, AI, spit me out a course. Tell me what lesson plan, A through Z is. Tell me how somebody would get from, this experience to this transformation, and, wrap it up in a course, and then, film me speaking the script with my AI avatar. I mean, it's so easy, right? To like fake a course, but you put your energy and your effort into creating the demand for it. One, in your mind, you create the demand, like, people need this. I have what people need. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I have what people need. Me, myself, I'm speaking for myself, but you want to say that I have what people need and they need to hear this. With that level of energy, that momentum is at your back. You can do this. You got this. Just keep the faith. That's the thing. So Donna, what's your course about? What do you want to build it to be? I think we get so in our heads about like, will this work? Well, have you tried it? What around it have you tried? Are you just watching other people do it and maybe fail? Are you watching other people shutter their arms of their digital courses and whatever and not doing that again? But then what are they doing now? That's years of their experience having run a digital course, gotten the feedback from the people who went through it, maybe learned lessons here and there, know what they want to do better, and now they're going to do something different, right? But it's with that knowledge that they're now doing this next thing, this next iteration of their business. It's not a bad thing, it's a great thing. It's a thing that when you look upon it with that level of awareness, that level of consciousness, that level of goodwill to them, giving them the benefit of the doubt, call it whatever you want, then you will have that. You will have that same level of energy and momentum in building your thing. In your thing, you might be on year 1 of your digital course. Amy Porterfield's on year 15 of her course. I don't know when she started, 2012ish. We were in the same space at the same time. I remember when she started. I was working for other people building their businesses, and then I ended up shifting to build mine. All the years, you can kind of think like, where would I be if I was doing my own thing like she was? But anyway, so though it's like you're on year 1 of your digital course, and then she's on year 15, 20 of doing her thing digitally, online marketing thing, and then she's shifting there. Well, what are you going to be doing in your year 15? What are you going to be doing in your year 20? You got to give yourself the chance. You got to start somewhere. And so how do you want to start? Do you want to start with a digital course? Then what's it about? Get excited about it. Share it with everybody. Tell everybody about it. And I'm going to even plug in my mastermind for entrepreneur moms, because I believe without the shadow of a doubt, mothers do not have the support that we need to run a business and run a household. We don't have it. And so I'm building it. Because what I crave the most in these times, when I'm feeling like the fear and I'm feeling like, kind of shaking in my boots about my own goals, I crave connection. I crave community. And so I want that for my fellow mompreneurs. I want moms to have a safe space where we can talk both about motherhood and about entrepreneurship. We can talk about the troubling things that are happening at home that make running the business hard. And what can we do then to get through all of the junk, all of the lies, all of the limiting beliefs that have me thinking I'm a bad mom and a bad entrepreneur. This is, we feel like we're failing in one thing if we're succeeding in the other. We feel like we can't have both. We feel like we're a stressed out entrepreneur with our kids, stressed out mom with our clients. Not true. Not true. When we simplify, when we declutter and simplify, and we start slow and we get into the rhythm that we have to create now as moms, and especially as a new mom, right? You're coming into something totally brand new. I'm an entrepreneur turned mom. It is not the same. It is not business as usual. I'm sorry to tell you if I'm the one first telling you. It is not the same. I cannot run my business the way I did before kids. In fact, I don't want to. I want to be with my kids. When they're home, I want to be with them. I don't want to go back online unless, they're just kind of doing their thing and we're all kind of working, and I call it quiet activity time. And, I'm finishing up my day, let's say, and they're also doing things. And it's just this beautiful vibe in the house. And sometimes I'll play light music or whatever music, whatever kind of fits the mood and exposes them to new energies. And I don't know, we just have this beautiful thing going. But this is what you get to do, right? You get to create the rhythm as a mompreneur. Do you not want to work on weekends? Then don't work on weekends. So start to build out your new flow, your new rhythm, your new life as a mom and entrepreneur. Your business doesn't have to die. Your motherhood doesn't have to die. You can do both, but it will take this kind of readjusting, this new balancing, this reevaluating of your priorities, and also going back to the visualization piece, seeing yourself as the mom you want to be, seeing yourself as the entrepreneur who's also a mom, seeing yourself as somebody doing both. See yourself as that. If I can offer one little bit of homework tonight, if you're a mom and entrepreneur, or you're an aspiring entrepreneur and a mom, or you're a soon to be mom, a mom to be, you're pregnant and you have a business and you're worried about the business getting all ruffled because you're like, how am I going to handle this? I can't keep the same call schedule, with my clients. That was a big one for me. I can't keep the same call schedule. What am I going to do? They expect so much. I over deliver on my promises, right? But with a new baby and maybe your attachment parenting and attachment nursing, and so you're going to always be there. So you might have a baby on your boob while you're in a Zoom call. Okay, that happens. It's happened to me a lot of times. And here's the beautiful thing. I've been on a Zoom call as a client with the mom nursing her baby, and it is a freaking beautiful thing. I mean, honestly, it melts my heart. It melts my heart to see any baby come on come on the screen with us. If we're, being honest, I just melt. And so I don't know. It was not a pandemic thing. I did not need COVID to turn me that way, where it's like everybody just has their kid running in the screen because it's like we're working from home. We're forced to be with our kids. They're home too. So like, let's figure it out. That it made it very acceptable, right? And I think, corporations are getting with the times, having their moms being able to nurse in rooms and leave the desk area, go pump or whatever they need to do. And it's just, this is it. And the feminine is rising. Okay. The feminine is rising in capitalism. And so do you want to be part of that? Do you want to be part of that turning of the tide? Do you want to be part of this revolution where moms get to be moms and entrepreneurs? Then join me in the Mastermind for Entrepreneur Moms. I mean that with all of my heart and soul. There's both the community that's being built up in the Mastermind, and there's mentorship, both with business and when and if you need it, parenting. Clarity for parenting, present parenting, not losing sight of your values, your morals, your priorities in life as you also do this business. Nothing feels worse than having a business be successful and there's chaos and conflict at home. If there's discord and sadness and the kids are fighting and nobody's happy at home, you having a successful business will not feel successful. What is success then? Success for a mompreneur is the balance of the two, right? It's having a happy home and a happy life as in business, right? It's having happy employees, happy clients, and happy kids, happy spouse, you being happy in both areas. And it starts with you. So how do you show up? It goes back to that manifestation trick where, we're asking ourselves, what would she do? What would she do right now? What would a successful mompreneur making millions in her business, providing for her kids, doing all the things that she wants to do for her family, living large and in charge in her life, right? And it just is all harmonious and happy and free and just lovely. Okay. What is that? What would she do? What would she do? And operate from that every single day. Tap into her every single day without fail. There will be moments, fear moments, right? Moments where you're kind of like caught in fear, panic attacking and like hyperventilating and like finding your breath again, finding your footing, calming down. What are our techniques? We talked about them. Breathing, taking a break, leaving the desk, journaling, writing out your fears, calling somebody, maybe a therapist instead of a friend, because you kind of, you want the feedback to be neutral. You don't want somebody to commiserate so much if the energy that you really need inserted in your life is something of faith over fear. You really want to call the person that's going to kind of remind you, you got this, you are this, you are her. Just remind me of that. Let me know. Okay. I got a really beautiful voice note from my friend today. That was exactly that. She said, I see you as this. And so she just made my day. Shout out to you, Camille. She totally made my day because she's like, I saw you on I saw you on the morning show. And she said, your energy is the same in person as it was you live on TV. And she's like, I'm just so impressed with you. And so, your friend group won't even know what you're up to all the time, right? You're over here doing your business and they're like, they see a different you. And it's like, oh, I didn't even know you were up to those things because you're just not talking about it, but you're being it. You're being it. And that's the best, right? when you can when you can still be it in every aspect of your life. I want to be a successful entrepreneur with my kids. I want to be a successful mom, a happy mom, a good mom with my clients. I want everybody to see the same thing, the same Yvette. And so anyway, thanks for coming on live. I think we can wrap this call, and I'm glad the phone didn't die for Instagram. But Dawn, I hope that answered your question. Are digital courses still a thing? And should I make them and sell one if I want to start my own business? And the answer is absolutely. If you believe in it, do it. Anything you put your faith and belief behind and your full out energy, right? So that means mind, body, and soul. You're just in love with this idea. Oh, I can just see myself happening. Then yeah, absolutely. Run with it. Do it. And if you need help, I'm here. Just reach out. And if you have a question for the Clarity Hotline, submit it at clarityhotline.com. I will see you next week. Peace. All right. I'll see you next week. YouTube. Peace.